Oh man, so like I need to get her up one more time.
But he was really in jail.
Yes.
Just for some reason, people think he died in there when really he did not die.
He was released from prison in the 90s, supposedly, and then got divorced and went on to
apparently
become
a lot of the
leader in
people
the
that
country.
say they remembered it said they remembered his widow giving a speech, I guess, after his funeral or whatever. That's the extent of my research. I know Kelly wanted to talk about confabulation, which I had to Google it because I didn't even know what that word meant. Did you?
No, I don't know what that means.
Apparently, confabulation is when your brain fills in gaps in your memory to make your memories make sense. And that tends to increase with age, which I understand that.
Yeah.
I know that that's a thing.
I've heard of that before, but I didn't know there was like an official term for it.
I don't see how that would fit in with the Mandela Effect.
Like your brain creating memories that are false?
But my first one, I guess, that I heard of was the Berenstain Bears. I'm not filling in any kind of gap. It's just I remember it's like Berenstain Bears, and they were the STEIN Bears. And like with Nelson Mandela, it's not like you're thinking back, oh, can I remember the time that he died, and then you fill it in with some bullshit. Like, why would you ever be thinking about that? Somebody asks you about it, and then you go, yeah, he's dead. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I ask you, you remember, and instead of remembering real things, you confabulate and make up what you think you remember.
But everybody made up the same.
That's my argument against that theory. That's why
Yeah.
when you were saying like that's the first thing I would say is then why do most people have the same remembering? Like that's the one I wrote down is Moonraker, Dolly. Jaws was the henchman in 2 Bond movies. In the second Bond movie, he was a villain in Moonraker. He had metal teeth. He used to pipe in half all kinds of shit. And in one scene, after seeing her a couple of times, there's a blonde girl called Dolly, and she smiles. And then after he smiles, and then it's like they fall in love. It's all magical. Happens in the movie. But she had braces before, and now there's just regular teeth. Why would he be envious of her specific, special, regular teeth instead of everybody's versus her having the braces? That makes sense. Why would everybody be remembering braces in a specific Bond movie from the 60s?
Mama
like,
said
this
she
make
remembers
any
the braces.
Everybody
I've never
does.
seen the movie, so I don't know. But
Dolly had braces.
It's been a long time since I've seen it, so I couldn't
The scene doesn't make sense without the braces. Watching it is just weird and out of place. It doesn't make any sense anymore.
Well, What was your first one or whatever? What's your biggest Mandela Effect?
Well, like the thing that got me into it was the Berenstain Bears.
I remember asking how it's pronounced when I was a kid. I remember asking my grandma if it was like the things we had up there. We had old German beer steins.
Yeah.
And I asked if it was pronounced like that or like steam. Because I'd seen both pronunciations, and I was like a word kid.
You're an E guy too, or do you remember that?
I'm an
See, I was in Virginia, and I was also in like 2 grades ahead, like English. Like I always asked about words. I specifically remember asking my granny in Virginia in a snowstorm, was it pronounced Stein or Steam? While I was sitting there reading a book, I have the memory. That's not filling in a gap. Like I don't fill in gaps like that. I have a lot of specific memories like that other people.
But that's Alicia's thing. Your friend Alicia?
Yeah.
Hers was Stein. She said she specifically remembers it because she knew what a beer sign was. And she said she could even see it written out. She started seeing it.
What's the alternate stain in it?
STAIN.
Berenstain Bears.
And that doesn't make any sense to me. We always said Berenstain Bears.
Yeah.
If it was an A, we never would have said that.
You'd have made fun of it, and I never remember making fun of Stain.
Yeah.
Like, I remember reading all those books when I was little, and I always thought it was Berenstain Bears.
Everybody called it Berenstain Bears.
So, when I first saw the theory, like, on the internet, I was like, holy shit, is that her?
What does the evil witch say in Snow White when she looks in the thing on the wall? I'm not even going to say anything. What does she say? What do you remember?
Well, what I remember is mirror, mirror, but I know that that's not it. Apparently
it's
magic mirror on the wall.
On the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? Not mirror, mirror.
I remember mirror, mirror.
Everybody does, specifically.
At the same time, I haven't seen that movie in 30 years, so...
Yeah, and see, a lot of them do go, but for everybody to remember shit the same way, like, apparently Ricky Ricardo never says Lucy, you've got some explaining to do. But everybody fucking remembers him saying that shit. I remember him saying that shit, but apparently none of you ever said that shit.
Oh, there's what's her name? From it's always gonna be a dumb movie. The mom from Forrest Gump. What's her name?
Sally Field?
Yeah, when she first won her Academy Award, she goes up there and she says, "You love me, or you like me, you really, really like me," or something. Or she,
I remember that. Yeah.
She actually, or she, everybody remembers, you love me, you really, really love me, and
No,
she really says like.
I remember a lot.
Okay, then I'm gonna look it up. I can't remember what it is, but it's the opposite now, I believe. Or either it didn't happen at all. I can't remember.
No, it definitely happened.
Like
Yeah, didn't they make fun of it in The Mask? Jim Carrey
For Norma Ray, I think it's
didn't he do the part?
Or Places in My Heart, that's what it is.
But you know, there's a lot of them that they put back to that where there have been parodies. Like apparently he never says, "Luke, I am your father."
Yeah.
But I don't know if somebody did a parody of it or one time,
A lot of
or
people
somebody just
Chris Farley into the fan. Luke, I am your father. That's just one thing I can remember from Tommy Boy. That's one, like, it's been in a bunch of parodies, but that's in an actual movie, not just a TV show or anything.
Yeah.
Remember he's sitting at his table and he has the thing off of the fan and he's making fun of.
God, it's been so long since I saw that shit.
Is it possible that some of these memories could just be where 20, 30 years ago somebody got it wrong when they were telling the story and everybody remembers that and filled in the gap? They kind of overwrote their own.
Yeah. Some of them, I understand that. Like the Luke, I am your father. Okay, that's not what he said. But like the Berenstain fucking Bears, that's not what that is. I know for a fact it was never STAIN.
Apparently, it's always been that though.
Also, when I was looking, apparently the location of New Zealand is a big one. I don't know geography, so I don't know where it is now or where people used to think it was.
Above Australia.
Is it?
It's off the coast of Australia.
What?
About 1,500 miles, 1,200 miles. Maybe not that far.
Why do people think that it was somewhere else?
Apparently so. So, hold on.
She says you like me in the speech. A lot of people remember her saying you love me. You really, really love me. And that's been said a lot in other things. I don't remember the speech, so I can't say either way.
What did he say in the scene from The Mask, though, where he parodied that?
I want to say he said love.
Yeah, because me and Taylor just watched it the other day.
So that would go back to my theory of you have this memory of the event happening, but you also have a memory of somebody else doing a parody
but that
of
only
it.
explains some of them.
Yeah.
It explains a lot of like ones like that, but like the Mandela, when I remember reading the article about him dying, not someone else quoting an article, and then there was things on TV. I don't specifically remember his wife speaking, but I remember all kinds of heads of states being there because he was like, because of his service to South Africa and how long he had been in jail and all kinds of
Is there anybody else at that time that was a big guy like him that died and that people could be confusing it with?
That's possible. I don't know for certain.
Yeah.
But him dying, could that have been like a government conspiracy, I guess? You know, like, this is the person you guys all follow, and look, he died, so...
If it was faked and then now we know he was out and
Did
was with his wife, they would all know. So I'm saying if it was faked, then we would know it now. And it works until everybody knows he's alive now and he died just a couple of years ago, and then they had another funeral.
But it could be possible that at the time that the stories of his death came out.
That's what I'm saying. I remember seeing on TV the big state funeral he had for him.
Well, that's what he's saying. So did the government do that? And then did he do anything?
Did the government do that as a cover-up? And then later on decided, you know, hey, let's let this guy out of prison, or he gets out for whatever reason.
So we should
But then
have
people would know that because we would have video of the actual funeral.
But now we just look
crazy.
crazy.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Now we just
What
look
if they got
crazy.
rid of everything and now there's just articles and people's memories?
Did he do anything big after his supposed death?
Yeah, he went on to supposedly was in the government, and he might have been the first president of South Africa after apartheid stopped.
See, I don't know enough about him. For New Zealand, apparently it is southeast of Australia. But apparently there's a bunch of people who remember it being northeast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either above or below, they're arguing about.
So below.
I remember that being northeast, definitely. And until you read that, I still believe that.
And that could be a weird projection map because on the map, Australia is always on the right edge right here. To make the Earth round right at that edge, they would make it way higher than it would be on a flat map. Like maybe that if it was a weird projection we all remember.
Yeah.
And now we were looking at a different one.
Failed by the public school system.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, it could just be like the way the globe is designed. Like maybe based on how they, printed the map on a globe, it threw off. I guess it threw off the coordinates a little bit.
Help me drink that so we don't have to drink it.
Watch
Maybe
out
let's
if they
pour it
drink
out, and we can just do shots.
Yeah, I'm all for pouring this out.
We're pouring this
Oh,
shit
it
out.
gets worse. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets worse as you get down there.
That banana flavor is strong.
I started though. I did. Watch me.
Yeah.
It made it worse.
The whole concept of drunk theory, you got to include the drinking.
This is not a professional podcast, but we're on iHeartRadio and Spotify. We've had one person from Norway listen to us. I don't know why anybody in Norway would be listening to us.
Whatever floats his boat.
I mean, hey, I'd like to go to Norway.
Probably got all his friends over there like, listen to these
Listen
stupid
to these stupid fucking Americans.
Is that where that kid went crazy and killed all the other kids at the camp for future leaders? Was that Norway? It was one of the Nordic countries that happened. Like it was like it would be like young George Bush Jr. Before he was president going to like a summer camp for kids that are going to be like leaders one day, and then shooting a whole bunch of them.
I hadn't heard anything about
that. That was the thing I had.
I'm gonna
like
say it wasn't
2 years
Norway
ago.
because I feel like you never hear anything about Norway at all.
Well, you haven't heard of it at all. That's what I'm saying. It was a big thing that like did it really happen? Well, I'm on a conspiracy.
That's all right. We always get sidetracked, and I don't have that much more to go on here. I mean, we can go back and forth about the ones that we've heard, but there's not. Oh, and I do have a page of people's explanations that I will talk about in a minute because I would like to know what y'all think. Where y'all think, parallel universes and whatnot. Let's do this. I agree. I guess with Kelly with the confabulation on some of them. And have any of y'all been on the Mandela Effect subreddit?
Yeah,
it's fucking garbage.
It used to be good when it first started.
But every fucking
I was one of the first like 100 subscribers. It was good then.
Every fucking post is somebody where they're just like mishearing lyrics. Yeah.
Do you remember this game Fortnite used to have a thing that pointed to the left and now it points to the bottom right?
And everybody's like, dude, you're just fucking
right?
insane. Like they don't have any fucking mods that can just be like, get out. You know what I mean?
Well, now Reddit's just it's controlled by bots and 7 mods. That's the problem. They kick everybody off.
Like, I'm all for the thought process that everybody is just misremembering everything.
Everything, though. So even you think it really is STAIN bears? You think it's the Berenstain Bears?
Well, I mean, according to...
Because you didn't misremember
Not according
it
to
because
anything.
other people
According to you.
misremembered it. I remember that being that before other people.
You just misremembering. Because I swear to God, I can even hear teachers saying Berenstain.
But...
And if it's spelled with an A, they're not going to call it
I do have an argument for that. That we live in the South where people mispronounce every fucking thing.
But if anything, they would have been like Berenstain, and they wouldn't say Steen if it's with an A.
I looked at the spelling, or I wouldn't have asked how it's pronounced. That's the reason I did. Because the reason I know it's the specific time in Virginia, I was in their advanced writing class. I remember being in it.
And if I couldn't, I vividly remember people saying, and I know I said Steen. If it was, and in my mind, I feel like I can see it written. But if that's all I had, I'd be like, okay, maybe I'm remembering it wrong. But I remember them saying Steen, and we never would have done that if it was.
The first time I ever, they put me in the advanced class, I went to the back and looked at the bibliography. I pronounced it Bibliography for some crazy reason, and somebody went, no, that's not how you pronounce it. So after that happened, I started asking on everything if I didn't know, and I specifically remember asking my grandma after that, Steen or Stein, like the beer Stein. I remember.
Is it possible that dear old grandma could have been wrong?
Well, no, I'm the one that asked her how it's pronounced because I read the letters. I needed to know. I'm the one remembering how it's spelled, and then I don't remember how she told me it was pronounced. I just remember the memory of asking her the question.
Yeah.
Because I read it and
But
that's how I know it was spelled that way.
What I was saying is,
If it was a memory of her saying stain, that might work.
You asked the question, but is it possible that her answer was wrong and then?
But I don't have a memory of her answer.
You just went off of that for the rest of your life.
No.
Like,
So the only memory I have is reading it and then asking the question of how it's pronounced because of mispronouncing things.
I guess that makes sense. Like, I believe it's spelled with an E, but
here's another one.
I could be wrong.
The Thinker, the statue, the Thinker.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, it looks like that. Oh,
Yeah.
It's not up here. You mean you look it up?
Me and you've done this. We've gone through this one. Yeah, apparently it's not this. Apparently it's this.
Yeah.
I always thought it was this.
Thinking.
But that doesn't make any sense. This makes sense for the Thinker. So I think that.
No, I think like this, close my eyes, that makes sense to me. I don't do this.
Both ways make sense. Because, like, you could just be sitting there like this thinking.
Yeah.
Or you could be,
So that's what I was thinking. The first one, it looks like just lost in thought. That's the whole statue. Someone lost in thought, and he's like this.
See, now that's one of them that I'm willing to say that's it. That's what's remembering.
See, I could believe that one, yeah. But
Berenstain Bears.
like I read it and asked the question.
Let's do this.
I know that, I know.
Yeah, I've heard of
most of them that can be explained your way, especially like Luke, I am your father, or just
yeah,
I
that
am
one
your
I
father.
understand, and
A bunch of them.
even the Ricky Ricardo one, okay.
But remember,
even though I fucking remember him saying that.
Remember in the braces in Moonraker, it makes the scene weird. Everything about it.
I know, and I don't know the
all.
movie, but just what you're saying makes it super cute if she smiles and she has braces.
Exactly, and then there's like little music, and it's like, oh, they're in love, but she's good and he's a bad guy, and that's the whole thing. And I think he saves her.
The braces really.
It connects them because he's got the metal jaw.
Exactly, and at the time, braces were like a big thing. They cost a lot of money. Her in the movie like that, they were big and like huge. You know how braces were in movies in the 80s, in the 70s. This would have been in 68 or 71, right around then.
Yeah, I was never a Bond fan.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's around those years. It's sometime before 70, I think, 5 or so. They're going to be huge and obvious, and I remember them.
All right, well, since we're doing the Mandela Effect,
nobody's even said anything about Shazam.
That's what I was about to do. We have to do Shazam. I remember that fucking movie. Do you remember Shazam?
I do.
What the fucking hell? And so they say that we're confusing it with Kazam.
Kazam came out much later.
No, it was.
That's Shaq.
It was only 2 years later. Like,
2 years is much later to me.
Well, I don't know.
In the 90s,
I have no concept of time.
The middle school is way different than 4th grade. There's no difference between 6th grade and 4th. That's how I remember stuff.
But that's what they say. They say that we're confusing it with Kazam with Shaquille O'Neal. No, the fuck not, because they don't look anything alike. I know fucking Sinbad. I watched all his stand-up, and I remember seeing him. Like, I love Sinbad. That dude was my fucking jam. I love that fucking dude. I remember that fucking movie. Movie's a fucking thing. And then, I had looked, and there was a thing on Reddit one time, this has been a while back, but somebody found a thing, and apparently he hosted some kind of...
an afternoon, like, movie special or cartoon special.
Yeah, and it was like some... little shorts or, I don't know what the fuck.
I remember reading that.
And people are saying, well, maybe y'all are confusing it with this. And I can't get behind that. I remember the fucking movie.
See, the problem is, before that, he said he had never even worn that stuff at all. Then it's, he wore it for this one thing for a few minutes. And now we're getting to territory, well, how do we know they aren't misremembering it and we're right? Because that makes more, like, now if he says he never did it, now he just did it the one time for a little while.
I could believe anything from him because he's a comedian.
It sounds like something Andy Kaufman would do.
Like, seriously.
Right? Yeah.
If he came out with this movie a long time ago, and then there's a theory that it never happened or it did happen, being a comedian, he would want to play that up.
Yeah.
And then, say 20 years from now, he comes out and he's like, oh yeah, y'all remember that? I really did it.
But it's not just him that's saying it never happened. I mean, it's everybody. Everybody's like, no, this is not a fucking thing. And then, horse shit, I tried to Google it again, but now there is a movie called fucking Shazam, the one that we went to go see. So, I mean, you can't even really find links to, crazy posts where people are trying to find the old one because they've all been very...
and Sinbad in the, plus. You have to put the plus sign.
Are you Googling Shazam?
I am.
Did you add Sinbad? Because if not, you're just getting the bubblegum chewing new Shazam. I do though. I fucking remember it. I fucking remember that movie. That movie's fucking real. Does anybody have any other ones that they want to talk about before we get into what could possibly? Well, I've only got one. No, I've got two. Explanations of what it is, other than what we've already said. But does anybody else have any big ones that they want to talk about that I missed? You got any others? Did Kelly have any? Did she have anything she wanted to talk about? Text her real quick. She's still
I already texted her. She's already in bed.
Like her. It's like 7:30. Oh, it's 8:15.
Yeah, she goes to bed at 8. She said talk about Mother Teresa.
What about Mother Teresa?
She said she swears that Mother Teresa was a saint. But
Yeah, she is.
That happened after her death.
You have to die before they argue sainthood. I thought that was the whole thing.
I don't know enough about it to chime in either way.
Like they have a whole thing where you have a devil's advocate and an angel's advocate or God's advocate or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's where the term comes from. And one argues for you and one argues against you for sainthood.
What? So like your arch nemesis shows up in court and is like they shouldn't be a saint.
Well, the person that talked against her was Christopher Hitchens, the famous atheist.
What was his problem with Mother Teresa?
She was an asshole who didn't really believe in God.
Oh, you know what? And I've heard stories about her being an
and a bunch
asshole.
of shit, yeah.
Same with Gandhi. I heard Gandhi was an asshole. I don't know what Gandhi is, so don't put any kind of faith into what I said. But I have read that both of those people were assholes. I mean, I know who he is. I don't understand. Like, I don't know what fucking religion he was. I just know he was a dude that was apparently supposedly all about peace, but I don't really know why. Like, was he protesting or, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know where he came from. What was he? Was he somebody or was he like a crazy hobo? I have no idea. I don't know anything about him. Do you know where Gandhi? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, so was he just like the trending hashtag of the day, you know, back then? And they were like, hey, let's check out this guy. But he's some crazy hobo. But I read that he was like a pedophile and all kind of weird shit. I don't know.
I've never heard any of that. I mean, obviously I have heard Gandhi, but I've never heard that he was a pedophile.
Oh no, I read a super weird story, and now I can't even remember if it's a little boy or a little girl. And I want to say it was like his niece or nephew. No, it's fucking weird. But I'm just gonna stop right there. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you read that?
Yeah, he also was against medication, and his wife was dying of like malaria, which they could cure like super easy, and then like he like let her die. But then when he got sick, he absolutely was like, medicine, give me drugs, I need shit. He was a fucking asshole.
Yeah, but again, I mean, I don't know. How did he get famous? Like, who? Why were they following him?
Another Mandela Effect thing I've heard is the Lincoln Memorial. There is a theory that people remember his right hand either being open or closed. I don't remember which one.
Oh, that one I wouldn't know.
But whichever way it is, people remember it the other way.
See, that's another one that you could just say is just people.
Yeah, because that's still,
like, is there a reason? Like, would it matter one way or the other? Like, is it open for a specific reason? Or
I don't know, but people somehow remember it the wrong way. But that's a memorial that you can still go visit. I mean, you can go to Washington or
wherever.
You can walk up and see it.
Which I would actually like to see.
And just like the thinker statue,
you can still go see it. But see,
you can still go see that.
That doesn't matter because a lot of the.
I mean, did they change the fucking statue though?
Yes, a lot of the explanations for Mandela Effect are that what we're remembering happened in an alternate reality. Something happened, and I'm sure there's like some scientific shit or whatever you might know, some scientific shit, but something happened to where we got shifted to another timeline. But some of us remember the shit from the old timeline. Everything is almost the same. Like, Sinbad exists in this new timeline, but in this new timeline, he never made Shazam. In the old timeline, he did. We remember that. New Shazam in new timeline, or new Sinbad in new timeline doesn't remember. Some of us are holding on. We have residue, I think is what they call it, residue of the old timeline.
I'm all for the multiple timeline theories. But why would there be a reason? Like, what explains things being different in alternate timelines?
Well, anything could explain it. I mean, maybe whoever wrote Shazam in our timeline was never born in the new timeline. Maybe he got aborted or whatever, you know? So that's how come. But everybody is still the same pretty much, and it's just small differences. And then, you know, they say, like, last names, you know, apparently are passed down, you know, and all this shit, it goes forever, and there are misspellings. So Berenstain in this new timeline was Berenstain.
I can't make the connection of why things would need to be different in an
Well, they didn't make it different on purpose.
They just are
in the new
infinite
timeline.
universes. That's how our
The
universe
same
is.
thing
After the
happened,
Big Bang,
but it's a little bit
there's
different.
a multiverse, and where
Yeah.
everything's happening all at the same time in a multitude of different ways in infinite universes.
And it just
And
happened
so
to fall to where they were different.
Yeah.
Well, what
and
happens?
so
What,
for
what,
the
what's supposed to
thinker,
what happens is if our universe fucks up, we would jump to it's called a dimensional jump to the closest compatible universe where everything's as close as possible. So the only things that have changed are small things like this.
Yeah.
But everything else works.
like last names, and
yeah.
you know the guy that did the
That's the
thinker
theory I've
statue.
seen.
Maybe the first time it was this way, but for whatever reason, maybe he broke the arm or something and had to redo it or whatever, and so the new one is this. But everything is still the same, but it's small differences, and for whatever reason we remember.
I do agree with multiple timelines. I think that's definitely a thing. And based on your theory of...
that's two different things. A different universe and this timeline, there could be different timelines here. That would be the same Earth. This is like not the same Earth. Like all the people that have jumped are the same, but all the new people are different. So it's not like a timeline where like it's like two different explanations.
Finish
like,
what you were gonna say.
He has a whole new explanation for it, like a timeline.
Based on what you were saying, like, you know, you could jump from one to the other. Why would you jump though?
No, we didn't do it on purpose. Something happened.
Something happened.
Mama was here and we were actually talking about it yesterday or day before, I don't remember, but anyway.
She thinks it's Y2K, right?
Yeah, she said, what if fucking Y2K fucked everything up and shifted everything? Yeah. And I was like, well, that's a great thing I've never heard.
That is a plausible theory that something would happen that would cause you to shift.
And for some reason, some of us still remember.
It would have to be like a super independent, personalized thing that would cause you to shift, because otherwise everybody would just shift, right?
Everybody did shift. Except for the ones, and some of us remember the old. Not everybody. But it's a lot.
Okay, I got it now.
Because I'm not the only one who thinks it was Berenstain. I mean, it's half the fucking world. Everybody shifted.
So everybody shifts, but some people just retain memories from before that.
Yeah.
Okay, I got that.
You got it?
Yeah, I just got lost on the whole shift. I didn't understand why.
Yeah, no, and then Mama blaming it on Y2K, I thought that was cool. Like, and that might be a thing that a lot of people think, but it's not something that I had read. Because Mama had never heard of it at all. And then, what started her? No, it was Shazam. So Mama started Googling it, and it was 1999 into the beginning of 2000 is when people started talking about Shazam.
But if Y2K is the point of the shift, don't people remember Mandela dying before that? Like, when did he actually die?
2013.
Okay, I thought it was.
No,
I thought it was before that.
He actually died in 2013, and I didn't even bother to research how or why he died.
That takes
He was old. He was like 80.
Was it?
That takes away my theory because I thought maybe he died before that.
No. I'm on board with Y2K. But okay, so other explanations we did the alternate reality. Some people are saying just false memories. Which again, for like the look on your father.
That's confabulation.
I
That's
get,
very about that. Yes.
Some people say it's mass hysteria, which I am absolutely. I understand what mass hysteria is. I don't think me remembering Berenstain Bears as STEIN is a mass hysteria, and I can't even figure out how anybody could argue that it was.
I'm more on the lines of false memories. I guess the herd mentality on that.
Yeah.
Because if a few people remembered it wrong from their childhood, think about it. You never really paid attention to that kind of stuff when you were little. So now when somebody brings it up, you're trying to dig back to these memories from 20, 30 years ago.
But for everybody's to be the same makes it weird.
But it's possible that you've been influenced enough to this point to where you remember your memories wrong.
But there was, like, I remember the very first time that I read it. It's not that I read 100 different people going, no, it was Stain, and then 100 different people going, no, it was Stain. I saw one person say it was A, and I was like, no, the fuck it wasn't.
But sometimes it only takes one small, I guess, droplet of an idea to influence your entire thought process. So it's possible that you read that one post, and then you're trying to pull up these memories from 100 years ago.
Can't get behind it, not for the Berenstain Bears and not for Shazam.
I mean,
so what would be the point? So just one person said, hey, do y'all remember this movie? And then half the world is like, fuck yeah, I do. Some of them I can. Some of them I do believe that it's just more.
Like, even though I believe in most of the things that are apparently wrong, I think of it like, I kind of link it to the movie Inception.
I was about to say, y'all just got so drunk, y'all wrote the movie Inception is what I was waiting to say.
Because
that's literally
I'm not even drunk yet.
Yeah, I'm not drunk either. I feel like it's like that. Like, it's possible that one person introduced the idea.
And just everybody fell on board.
And then, like I said,
like picking sides.
I don't know about you, but my memory from my childhood is not the best.
No, it's not.
Mine is.
And I mean, there is some shit that I'm
one of the weird people that just remembers everything, and I remember a lot of specific things like that.
There is a lot of stuff, you know, that I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'm probably wrong about it. And like as far as Nelson Mandela, I always think everybody's dead. Like Ron will be like, hey, did you see this new movie? It's got this guy in it. I'm like, oh shit, ain't he dead? I just think everybody's dead. So I can't get on board with any of that. Berenstain Bears was with an E, and fucking Shazam is a goddamn movie. Like, that's not me being crazy.
In my memory, I feel like I watched Shazam when I was little.
Yeah.
And I read a lot of Berenstain Bears when I was little.
But you still think that's you? You think that's you being crazy? You think?
I think it's possible that I've been influenced since that point in my life to believe
that
one way over the other.
Okay, final thoughts. You think it's just false memory?
I think it's false memory.
What about you? Mandela Effect. The big ones, not the dumb ones.
I don't know how to explain it.
You think it could be possibly false memory?
Could be the Large Hadron Collider. They started that shit up and started.
That's a whole other podcast, which we will stop and then do another comment because that's what we do. But I don't know. I like the alternate reality idea.
I do like that idea, and I'm a believer of that thought process. But I don't think that works here for whatever reason. I just can't make it work.
You would rather just say that you're crazy.
Yeah. I'd rather say that.